Holtz-Eakin, former CBO director and American Action Forum president. Doug, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Jared.
So back in January, when President-elect Biden proposed his $1.9 trillion stimulus plan, a bunch of Republicans went to him with a compromise proposal, said, look, we can't support 1.9, but we can go some other way. Completely ignored it. They went ahead with the 1.9, passed it on a party line vote through the House and the Senate. The political arithmetic's a bit different this time, isn't it? It doesn't look like that $2.3 trillion plan of the president's is going to go through as it stands.
Well, it is different this time. Back in January, they were voting on something they'd seen in the previous Congress. It had been renamed, but it was a material that all the Democrats agreed on, and it was easy to put it through on a party line vote. This is different. There's a lot of disagreement. The SALT cap is the evidence of that among Democrats about what should be in the bill. So the president has a greater interest in seeing if he can lure some Republicans over to yes votes to get it through the Senate. And there is that chance. I will say it's not just politics. This bill is not going to do what it's advertised to do, which is create jobs and enhance the standards of living of Americans. This is a headwind to economic growth. It's a poorly designed bill. It's going to hurt the average American. So he can get better policy by sticking with the Republicans and get the votes he might need to get over the finish line.
You're not suggesting, Doug, that some of that infrastructure they keep talking about isn't really infrastructure after all? That can't possibly be true.
Here's the really interesting part. If you go through the president's proposal and count up the roads, bridges, ports, airports, things that are traditional infrastructure, add in broadband, which is a modern infrastructure element, take about 25% of that, which is that's about 25% of the spending, and that's about $650 billion. So they could easily just be coming back and saying, look, you've agreed this is important stuff. Let's do this. We'll agree to do this, and now let's have a better way of financing it, and use user fees and traditional financing mechanisms, and don't kill off headquarters in the United States, and don't kill off economic growth.
Right.
That's the proposal.
Right. I was going to say that. So that the tax part of the plan, which is to raise corporate tax basically from 21 to 28%. Is running into trouble, even among some Democrats, right? Joe Manchin, the most important man in the world right now, and that holds the balance of power in the Senate, he seems to be against it. Do you think that balance? Do you think there'll be any corporate tax increase, or a smaller one than proposed, or as you say, will they try to gain revenue from other sources?
They have memories that are long enough to go back to 2014, 15, 16, when headquarters were fleeing America at an alarming rate, and every year we had a huge pitched battle over some company that had decided to relocate abroad. Why did they do that? The tax rate was too high compared to our developed country competitors. It would be again. And we were trying to tax our firms on the basis of their global earnings, and we're going to try to do that again. All you have to do is think about that error and think, maybe this isn't such a good idea. So I do think they have some problems.
Do you think anyone, Doug, just finally is... It just is a puzzle to me how nobody really seems to be focused on the scale of the fiscal deficit. We're already up to a fiscal deficit of 100% of GDP. We're adding more to the debt each year than we've added in the last 100 years. And yet, on both sides, there seems to be kind of relative ease about it. I know you've spent much of your life studying this. How concerned should we be?
I think we should be very concerned. I mean, these numbers are outside of historical norms. We have seen around the globe countries get into trouble, so it's not unimaginable. And importantly, in the midst of the pandemic, when the Congress moved to support the economy, everyone agreed you do what is necessary to make sure the economy stays afloat and we resume growth. This is different. This is discretionary policy. It's not necessary, and it's not paid for, and it makes the problem worse, and it saddles our children with another layer of debt. That's simply unwise at this juncture, and I'm mystified by why people don't get that.
Yeah, me too, Doug. Thanks very much, Doug Holtz-Eakin. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.